Everybody, welcome back to Behind the Hedges. Tonight, we are talking Florida Gators 2020, I can't even say it, 2022 season. Jesus, help me, man. I need some coffee or a nap. Let's get to it.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push the mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be.
So this has very quickly become my favorite segment on the show, Ethan, and that is the expectations and approval rating. So let me say something about this. I've mentioned it a couple times already, so people at home are going to be tired of me saying this. But you watch Josh Pate? This is my weekly Josh Pate plug. If you're not watching Josh Pate, go do so. All right, the guy's gold. All right, there you go, Josh. Now send us the cash. Right? Wait, hold on. Here we go. You can just send it right there. So anyway, Josh did this show where he's talking about approval ratings for coaches amongst their constituent fan bases. And he said, if you look into the SEC is sort of in a weird situation right now where basically everybody is happy with their coach. With the possible asterisk of Auburn, they're in a sort of like their own little category.
As always,
right? There are some people there who are happy with Harsin, maybe not for his results or his coaching ability, but for being a stick in the mud or a thorn in the side for the boosters or what have you. I don't know. That's Tidwell's got a lot of feelings. All right, and I am, like I said earlier, I'm here to give him that platform. So everybody seems to be really, really thrilled with their coaches. There's a lot of new coaches, including Napier. A lot of guys like Smart, Saban have had success. Whatever. Pittman just cannot be touched at all. You would the earth would open and you would descend into the bowels of hell for speaking ill of Pittman in the state of Arkansas. These guys. Thanks for being here, guys.
It's Harsin New Mullen.
Well, I guess so. It's like the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh, right? So you lose Mullen, you're like, oh, dang it, and then Brian Harsin is.
You can't have both.
Guys,
you can't have both orange and blue rivals down forever, right?
Right, exactly, and you also just can't. They can't both be targets at the same time, I guess, right? But until Florida falls off the map again, we always got Brian Harsin.
Yeah, there we go.
So, anywho, I want to know how you, as a Florida fan, an educated Florida fan, what is your approval rating for Billy Napier? I mean, like on a 1 to 10 sort of thing. 10 being obviously like, this is our guy.
So, like, let's be real here. 10, I feel like you can only have like Smart, Saban, Dabo in that conversation, right? Based off of that, with those guys being a 10, I'd say maybe 8.
Okay, fair. All right.
I think that Napier's ceiling is potentially that high. His floor could be, another 5 years of lost Florida football. I don't know. I don't think his floor is that low. I think that he's not a proven commodity, but that's kind of the name of the game. Very few teams get proven commodities. Texas A&M, USC. Kirby wasn't a proven commodity, but he had the playbook. I think Billy has that same playbook, and maybe he doesn't execute it as well as Kirby. It'll remain to be seen. But they learn from the same people, and we've tried that with McElwain, and we tried following Myers' disciple with Mullen. It just hasn't worked out. The level of detail, the energy that he seems to exude, that his staff seems to exude, that the people in the program now, it's not just the head coach. Like before, we had old ass Tim Brewster tweeting out palm trees and weird shit to recruits. And, I mean, Tim Brewster was one of our best recruiters on staff. Like, Tim Brewster, like, really, like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. We know.
I know, but I wanted to bring this up, right? I wanted to. It's obvious. I'm not even going to ask you. Do you think that Florida is a stock up or stock down team, right? But I think it's worth saying that I don't think Florida's results. Can you see my mouse there? Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. I don't think Florida's
I can see it
results.
now.
Yeah. 2-6 in the conference. Like now, most of this is back end. Like there just came a point last season where it just was over, and Florida they sunk into the swamp. Right? It was just done. And when you're celebrating at halftime in the Samford game, after letting them hang half 100 on you, it's like this is not the look, guys. You know what I mean? And so Florida just sort of just disappeared. And man, the Missouri game, I mean, South Carolina, all of that though, you guys still beat Tennessee, played them first, right? Still beat Tennessee, and poor old Vandy. So, everybody north of I-20, but south of I-40, I guess. Tennessee people think that they are definitely a stock up program, and they are aiming at top 2 in the East, right? They're chasing Georgia. They really think that's where they are, and maybe they are. I'm not saying that. I think Kentucky's quite a good team here.
I think that there's the possibility that Florida, I think low end 6-6 this year, 8-4 maybe. And that's a big difference, in terms of who we play. We start with Utah. We have our SEC schedule. We finish with Florida State. If you look at, to me, I think the 2020 SEC championship game broke Dan Mullen. Maybe the LSU game did. I don't know. If you look at, we were right there with Bama in the SEC title game. Absolutely phoned it in against Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl, and even admitted to it almost gleefully. Which at the time, and honestly, I don't care that much about bowl games anymore. I just don't. I mean, they're kind of meaningless games. The best players sit out. If it's not the CFP or, bowl games used to be a time for younger players to get playing time. I mean, that was always the thing. Now guys just straight up sit out. Whatever. Yeah. But you can't say you folded in. And then you look at the first 2 games of last year, FAU and USF. I mean, really, if it wasn't for Anthony Richardson just going insano on QB sweeps, those
you guys put up a heck of a lot of rushing yards, and people were like, "Whoa, Florida has an identity. Look at this!" And there was some buzz around it.
Yeah, and then we played Bama, 3rd game of the year, and nearly knocked them off. I mean that. Right. You look at the outcome of those games, and I can't pinpoint the moment. I don't know if it was losing to Kentucky again. I don't know if it was the LSU
think I know the
game.
moment.
Which one?
I think it happened about 2 minutes before halftime in the Georgia game.
See, but that's the other time that I would pinpoint to, because it was 3-0 up to that point. Huh? We weren't folding it in, and y'all damn sure were not, letting us take anything.
It was a football game.
Yeah. And honestly, that whole final 2.5 minute debacle, man, that was some unlucky ass football. But that it's weird how undisciplined, immature, unprepared teams tend to be the unluckiest, right? Like that's kind of how things go.
It's funny to hear it from that perspective, because hearing it from my perspective was, Georgia's finally doing that thing that Georgia does, right? Because it was a game, and then suddenly we started to look like in those last 2 minutes the way that we had already looked, where suddenly this defense just, you know what I mean? They tear the G open and there's an S
And,
behind it.
and y'all did the same thing
And,
to Bama in the national championship game, to
Yeah.
where it was a dogfight, and it looked like Bama was about to put the nail in the coffin, and then suddenly the defense said, "No, not this defense."
Yeah.
So I got to give the Georgia defense credit. You just don't see 3 touchdowns scored in 2 minutes without there being at least a smidgen of bad luck. And the fumble on the 10-yard
remember.
line
In
was.
fact, I wish I could. I wish I could pull up the receipts from mine and Ducati's text exchange at the time. You would get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
There's a point where it was after the first turnover, and I was like, "Oh snap, we got a break, right? We're gonna get one here, right?" And then it was Nolan Smith was the one that recovered it, stripped the ball, right?
Yeah.
And then when he intercepted that pass, he dropped back and covered, and then picked one off. He was the next turnover too. And I said, "Oh shoot!" And I said, "Matt." I said, listen to what I'm telling you right now. If Florida doesn't settle down right here and they continue to press and try to make something happen, this will get out of hand. This will spiral on them badly. And then when Georgia scored again, and here comes Ritt, you got to throw a ball, and the Kobe Dean goes up and get it, and I'm like,
yeah,
bro, I just told you.
And honestly, okay, so I kind of pinpoint the moment that Florida football lost its mojo to the soul-sucking Nick Saban as the 2009 SEC title game, where Greg McElroy tiptoes down the sideline for like a 15-yard first down run. And you could tell it just deflated everybody. And since that moment, we've had flashes, but we've never been back to where the expectations really are for our program. But to go back to the SEC title game in 2020, there was a play, I think it was near halftime, maybe right before, I don't remember. But we intercepted Bama. It was 28-28 at the time, I believe, and maybe 21-28. We intercepted Bama in the end zone. Trey Dean returns the ball, gets out to about the 30-yard line, and Devontae Smith punches it back out. Bama recovers it. Next play, scores a touchdown.
Right.
That moment, it just swung the momentum just all the way back around. And then Mullen tried to do his Bill Belichick, get the ball back right before halftime and score, and it failed. But then Bama got the ball back with like a minute left and put another touchdown up. Mm-hmm. Then you go fast forward to the end of the game and lose by 6.
I remember that exchange, man.
Yeah, that was Mullen's flash in the pan, and it failed. So that's all behind us now. And now we are on to a new era.
That's all behind us now.
It's totally normal to remember these things in vivid detail, right? That's definitely not a sign of caring too much.
It's healthy. It's healthy.
Yeah,
it's definitely not mental illness or
so,
anything like that.
I think that the big thing that people have talked about with Napier is he's very detailed. He's very organized. He's very structured, which is a drastic change from Mullen, who was always kind of aloof and just, weird in a lot of ways. And so that's going to be a nice change of pace. As far as expectation go, I mean, come on. Even in our worst years, Tennessee has beat us once. We have a whole.
So I wanted to circle back around to that. I wanted to say that. I said, rather than Tennessee's expectations being, let's chase Georgia, their expectations need to be, let's beat Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their goal, like, circle that game. You gotta walk crawl before you can walk. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not, but that's just what the pecking order is right now. You're looking at a team, Florida, that went 2-6 in conference, and one of those games was against you. You know what I mean? And you're talking about, we're going to check. Iamaliava. That's how you say it.
Hey, man, I think that Heupel has a good offense.
I agree. I completely agree.
I think that the drawback, and it's the thing that people have said about the spread offense in the SEC, sometimes the other team has studs on defense. And if you want to try and run 85 plays, you better score 50 points, or else your defense is going to pay for it. And that's kind of what happened to them in a lot of ways. I do think Hendon Hooker, but this is not a Tennessee show, man. That's the wrong shade of orange.
It's definitely not. But I'm trying to circle that back and say, hey, Florida guy, maybe your goal should also be, well, let's get bowl eligible and all that. But let's maintain a little bit of decorum here and keep Rocky Top under the swamp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's the expectations at Florida will never be SEC East champions. I mean, obviously that's a good start, but it's just, and it's the same at Georgia. It's the same at Bama. It's the same at LSU. It's the same at schools that have actually won stuff. Like it's not division championships. It's SEC and national titles.
Sure.
We are, like I said, we hit a hard reset button. I don't think 2022 is going to be.
Fair, Robert.
Hey, man, Mikey's going to fight you over that one.
There might not be a riot shade, but there certainly are a lot of shades. God, there's a lot of it.
But I think that unlike when Mullen took over, and really when McElwain took over, we were just so starved. Going from Urban Meyer scoring 50 points and Tim Tebow and all this stuff to Muschamp, who couldn't score, he couldn't score his way out of a paper bag, to McElwain, who was supposed to be this, offensive guy, and he had just had a Biletnikoff Award winner and a second-round QB pick, and said that he could score points with his dog at quarterback. And then the rest is history.
Right.
Funnily enough, we have to be the only school in recent memory that's fired back-to-back coaches the season after going to the SEC title game. I can't remember.
I would bet that's probably true.
There's just there hasn't been enough teams that have played for it that would even fit into that. But Mullen, he scratched that itch for a lot of the fan base, and that he put up points, and a lot of the warts were ignored because we actually had a functional offense. I think that everybody, myself included, will be happy if we get back to closer to the median of 32 points a game and 17 points on defense. That the make or break style of Todd Grantham's defense, it just broke us. And we saw it and we saw it and we saw it. And then everybody after 2020 realized, like, dude, if we had a functional defense in half of those games, we would have been competing for SEC and national titles. We almost won.
Sure. Yeah.
But Bama scored 52 points on us. I mean, it's pretty tough to win a conference title when your opponent scores 52 points.
Sure.
So I think that's, Tony has a more modern style defense to where he actually doesn't give up first downs on 3rd and 19. So
I want to hear you. I want to hear you give it a number. We're going to wrap it up with a number.
Okay.
We're going to say Ethan thinks that a reasonable expectation for the Florida Gators is a season that involves beating Florida State, beating Tennessee, and finishing with a record of how many wins?
Let me see. I'm looking at our schedule now. So we go Utah, Kentucky, South Florida, Tennessee. If we have more than one loss coming out of September, I think that people will, like I said, I think the expectation for this year is pretty low. I think that people are willing to give Napier a year to fix the mess. But looking at this schedule,
I guess I should have pulled up your schedule.
I'll say 8 wins is exceeding expectations. Looking at the schedule, it's hard to go less than that, honestly. I mean, the teams we play are not as talented as us. The big question mark is that a lot of us just don't know how Napier's offense is going to work, how Tony's defense is going to work. So there's question marks. But there's really no reason we shouldn't be able to beat the first 6 teams we play. Maybe that's a bold assumption. And maybe I'm underplaying Kentucky a little bit. I know I've been guilty of that because I spent my entire adult life beating Kentucky every year until Mullen came in. So I know they're a different breed.
I think Kentucky is a good football team, and I know that a lot of people have trouble thinking that, and so I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put my personal expectations at 8 wins. Anything, and so those 4 losses would be Georgia, Texas A&M. See, that's the problem, man. If you pull the schedule up, like, if you look at the teams we play and you look at the talent we have on our roster, and especially if Anthony Richardson becomes close to what his potential is, if he stays healthy, doesn't do backflips, doesn't dance in the hotel, and plays up to his potential. I mean, looking at this schedule, it's not a murderer's row schedule this year,
Oh, crud. What the heck is going on here? I don't know what just happened. I have done a thing. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Here we go. Okay, there we go. All right, so starting September 3rd with Utah, I am of the belief that Utah's pretty good. I think this is a losable game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's why I said coming out of September with 1 loss.
Yeah.
At that point, or with more than 1 loss, rather.
I think that Kentucky is at least as good as Utah.
I think 3 of those games are losable. I think that 3 of those, I think all 4 of those, especially with the first 3 being at home, it gives us a chance. Utah's got to fly across the country. Kentucky doesn't get their Commonwealth Stadium, Kroger's magic. South Florida, that should be an easy dub. Floppy top, who knows?
This right here is a problem.
I don't think so.
This is a problem. I know you don't think so, but those people are mad, and they really want to.
They should
Florida.
be, man. They suck.
And they have mustard bottles. So,
I mean it takes more than mustard to defeat Florida, man.
So all I'm saying is that losable game, losable game, losable game. That's 3, 4, 5 losable games, 6 losable game. Losable game. South Carolina is a losable game.
I just don't think so, man. I feel like it's any game is losable. I mean, you guys lost to.
This is not.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
This one's not.
Okay. Yes. The Division II teams on our schedule are not losable.
You were going to say we lost to South Carolina, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and yeah, you're right. It
happens. Any game is losable in the SEC. But I think that coming out, look, we play 6 out of our first 7 games at home. If we come away from that with fewer than 5 wins, so that's giving the benefit of the doubt to, if we come out of those 7 games at 3-4 or 4-3, people are going to be restless. But I think looking through those teams, if you look at the talent level, if you look at really, if you just ignore the previous year, which is maybe a fallacious argument, but if you ignore the year that basically was just a lost season because our coaches didn't give a shit, getting 6 out of 7 games in the swamp, we still went 5-1 in the swamp last year. It's a tough place to play. So all of those teams coming in there, it's kind of going to be our turn to give them hell. So I think that's going to be a huge benefit to us is the fact that we get to play them at home to start the new tenure, to start the new season. Utah's a tough matchup. I mean, we get Texas A&M for the second time in 3 years. That's fun. Yeah. So I mean, it's. We could go 3-9 or we could go 10-2. I honestly don't know. And I think that basing it off of talent, we out-talent everybody on this schedule except for Georgia and Texas A&M, maybe LSU. Basing it off of performance from the previous year, hell, man, we could go 2-10 if our players give as much of a shit as Mullen did. But
Do you
think
believe what you said though about the floor is 3 wins and the ceiling is 10? Is that really where you are? All right.
I would say the floor is 6. I don't see a way. I don't think Florida State is going to beat us. Vandy can't beat us. Eastern Washington and USF, that's 4 wins right there. There's no way in hell we lose, and this might be something I get clipped on later. I don't know. There's no way in hell we lose the rest of our games this year.
Okay.
To go 3-9. So,
Right.
I'm sorry, man. I just don't buy the hype on Tennessee. I don't give a shit about Eli Drinkwitz, and I hope that every player that was on this team last year remembers Eli Drinkwitz's bullshit, just like Missouri remembered Dan Mullen.
They remembered Darth Mullen.
I hope that they remember it and take it off at Missouri's ass. I hope that the swamp is, I think the swamp's going to be rocking, and that's why I think it's so important to come out of that first month with your new coach, with your, everybody's going to be fired up. It's going to be no more restrictions, and, everybody's happy, and football's back. And especially if we go into that Tennessee game 3-0, it's going to be a 38-10 whooping of Tennessee in floppy top.
I'm going to say it like this. This is how I will say it. I will say that I expect that Florida will be dogs in Vegas versus Utah, Kentucky, Tennessee, LSU, Georgia, Texas A&M. And I think South Carolina, because I think South Carolina is going to have a good early
all of
part
those
of the season.
games, but all of those games that are at home.
Right. Yes. All right. So I'm not. Hold on. I think that Florida on paper will be dogs against those 7 schools. I am going to say that Florida is going to lose 6 of those games.
No way.
Okay. I just want to I put my timestamp down, and I got yours about a minute before.
So you expect there to be no improvement from a checked out Mullen and an interim head coach.
No, that was my same as your 8-4 median, like your expectation level. That's not my floor and ceiling. That's my median level. I think Florida could lose 7 of those games, all 7. But I do think that Florida could win as many as I think 8. When you said 8-4, I was like, that sounds good. If I woke up tomorrow and it was the end of the season and I just opened the newspaper and found that Florida won 8 games, I'd be okay, yeah, that makes good sense. What the hell is?
Oh
this?
My gosh! Nice jersey, man.
I need you to stick around for just a minute. Well, this is going to be one of those, like, now everybody got to tune in for next week.